Welcome to another edition of the Ballard Show. I have a very, very special guest by the name of Cory Rico. He is a vocational rehabilitation specialist and what's that, second division of rehabilitation services. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Oh man, this is an exciting interview. I'm so excited that you came, and I just thank God that you're here with me right now to be on the show. Okay, what do you do at DORS? Oh, he also works at DORS. He's the representative there at DORS. Can you tell the people about the DORS program?
Sure. The DORS program is a Maryland State Department of Education program. It's a state program, and DORS, D-O-R-S, stands for the Division of Rehabilitation Services. Our primary goal is we help people with disabilities find employment. I myself have a disability. I'm paralyzed from the waist down. I'm also blind. It's a very fulfilling job. But our goal is to put emphasis on independence, of course, employment, and economic sufficiency. So our goal is, again, to make sure that we can help a person with a disability find a job in the community. So we call that a competitive integrated setting. So competitive meaning that this person is making at least minimum wage, which in Maryland is $13.25 an hour, and they have room to grow as well too. Integrated meaning it's not a specific job just for a person with a disability, but it's again a normal job working along someone with without a disability, being able to function just as well. We give what we call informed choice. So like if a person has a disability and they want to work, then we find out, well, first of all, what's the type of job it is that you want to look for.
Right.
We can do assessments, we can look at work experience, we can look at even interest, and we try to determine, is this gonna be a good fit for this person?
Right.
So it's like, okay, if you want to be, like a bus driver, okay, it's like, okay, well, first of all, do you have your driver's license? Okay, well, that shows that you can drive. So that means that, okay, then that qualifies you to be able to go, and let's try to get you set up maybe over at Warwick Community College to do the CDL training.
Right.
And what we do, we determine what funding is needed. If a person has disability benefits like SSI or SSDI, they don't have any financial contribution towards services. If they receive benefits like Medicaid or supplemental like temporary cash benefits, TCA, TDAP, temporary disability benefits, food stamps, if you're using anything like that, or you have a low income, then you don't have to pay towards any of your services. Now, depending on how many people's in your family, how much money may be coming in, you may have a small financial contribution, but those are things that we look into to determine financial eligibility. But pretty much we would take care of funding after even applying for comparable benefits, meaning if you're gonna go to college, of course you gotta sign for financial aid first. See what you can get first. If financial aid doesn't cover everything, then DORS can maybe pick up the rest of the tab. Things like that.
Yeah.
If you got disability benefits going to the community colleges, you qualify for a tuition waiver. So again, there's training. We have our own program in Baltimore, the Workforce and Technology Center, where their specific goal is to train persons with disabilities for different types of job fields. We got food service, environmental services. We have try to remember we have a partner with CVS where we train people to be customer service people, or if they want to go further on to be pharmacy technicians. We combine with that.
It's a blessing.
Class, so much, man. We can glass train with Staff Light. I think they're like a glass company that we work with. We train for warehouse, and stocking. It's so much that we have. And mind you, you got to commend this program is 1 out of 8 in the whole country.
Wow.
So, it's huge. And if you're a part of DORS, again, even if you're down here on the shore, we can set you up. They have a dormitory on campus in Baltimore. So if that's something that looks interesting to you, those are things we can do. Child care services.
Wow.
pets, working with animals. I mean, it's really, and I mean, that's just our program. You know, that's just Workforce and Technology Center. But again, we give informed choice. Even we have a program if you want to do self-employment, have your own business, and we train to do business, plan writing and how to put your business together, and how to apply for business loans. It's so much that we can do.
All right, man, that is super blessed. That's a mega blessing right there. And people really don't realize that this stuff is in our community, and they just need to get tapped in, man.
Yes.
Get tapped in. So how can they apply for these positions and different types of avenues they can get on their feet and stuff like that?
And to apply for the DORS program, the main way you want to you want to get on the website. Our website is www.dors.gov. And once you go on our website, and it'll give you a big explanation of who DORS is, then you'll see something that says you want to apply. Once you click on that, again, this is for anyone in the whole state. Once you click on, they'll ask you some information to put it in, your contact information, the type of disability you have. And then what will happen is they will find the office that's closest to your area. Because we have different district offices, different regions that cover, again, the whole state. You will get a contact for one of the offices, and then, you will get an application. Again, you will fill out more in-depth your information on the application, and they'll set you up with an intake. Once you come in for an intake and you meet with your DORS counselor, then what's going to happen next is, I guess, you get the intake of the program, but then we're going to talk about your disability, what type of job it is that you're looking for or trying to get into, and we have to get medical documentation to determine if you are eligible for our program.
Right.
Now, we have an order of selection for its eligibility, okay? There are different categories depending on the level of your disability that you can be placed in. So our category 1 is our most significant disability, okay? That means that, you require services immediately. And once we get that documentation, we'll put you in eligible status, and then your counselor will start helping to develop your individual plan of employment, which is going to be everything we're going to try to do to get you to this goal of the job that you're looking for. We have a category 2. Now, category 2 says you have a significant disability, but what it does, it puts you on our waiting list. It's not as severe as the most significant. That waiting list is probably a little over 3 years. It's a little long, but what will happen is we will give you other resources of other places where you can search for employment, like the American Job Center, places that can help there. Then we have category 3. Category 3 says you do not have a significant disability. That's the waiting list, but nobody's come off of that. I've been with DORS for 9 years, and I've been telling people since then it's been 10 years since someone's come off of that list, so you kind of get that idea.
Okay.
But what happens is we have a list of life functions that we look at to determine what does your disability affect, life functions. So does your disability affect your communication, how you interact with others or speak with others? Mine is communication. As much as I can talk, you know what I mean? But mine is communication because visually, if you write me a note, I would not be able to see it. So communication would be something checked off of my list. We have interpersonal, how you're able to interact with others, and like it's a normal matter. Disability may cause you to be standoffish or, ADHD, not pay attention or something like that, Then we check to see, does it affect mobility? Again, another one of mine is mobility. Do you need assistance getting around? Even if you don't have a wheelchair or a cane or a walker, do you need to learn how to get around? Maybe you're not able to read signs because of your disability, and you need assistance to learn how to get around.
Right.
Next, we look at it's a lot, man. But next, we look at like self-care. Do you need assistance taking care of yourself, whether it be physical or whether you need someone to, to help you take medications or remind you to do A, B, C, and D, or self-direction is the next one. We look at self-direction. Do you need someone to kind of help you when you maybe having episodes or moments, to kind of show you how to make these decisions or what next step to make because of the disability. Then we look at your work skills. A lot of times, a lot of people are not born with disabilities, but the disabilities come upon them, and because of that, they're not able to work the same job they used to be able to work before.
Right.
Or even if they are able to work that same job, now they need special accommodations in order to work that job. So we would check that off if that's a need be. Then last, we look at your work tolerance. Does your disability affect how long you can work? Or do you need special accommodations to work a full day? Or maybe you need to take frequent breaks. You know what I mean? Maybe you're not able to stand for a long time, so you might have to stand for a half hour and then sit for 5. Things like that. Now, those are 7 life functions that we look at. Now, if we check off 3 or more of those life functions, then that puts you in the most significant category. You're in eligible status, and then your case is able to move forward to the individual plan of employment. If we check off 1 or 2 of those functions, then you're placed in that category 2, and you go on the waiting list.
Right.
Now, if you receive SSI or SSDI, that automatically puts you in category 2, but we still would go through the list of the functional limitations to see if your disability can stops that or affects that, and you can come off of category 2 and be on 1 for that purpose. Also, if you're on category 2 and your disability changes, you can always bring back more medical documentation and say, hey, this is something new that came, will this place me in category 1?
Okay.
Of course, none of them cut off. Category 3, no significant disability. But that's pretty much how you get in.
What influenced you to be a rehabilitational specialist anywhere at DORS? How did you get in that?
Well, as I said, I've been through the DORS program myself.
Okay.
It's a long time ago. But DORS helped me get through UMES. I went to UMES, and they paid for funding. Of course, I applied for my financial aid and everything. I had to keep a C grade point average to continue to get funding each term. So I always had to turn in, my grades and everything like that. Shortly after I graduated from college, a few months after, I then lost my vision. I've been in the wheelchair all my life. And I got a degree in computer science. I was good at computers, but it wasn't something that I loved. I was good at it, but it wouldn't have been that goal for me that I would have been fulfilled with. So after losing my vision, I went back to school to get a degree. This wasn't through DORS, but I went back to school to get a degree, associate's degree in chemical dependency counseling, because I knew I wanted to help people. One thing that we do at DORS is we help people find their strengths, not to focus so much on the disability, but focus on ability. So you look at interests, you look at things you're capable of doing. So that time when I lost my vision, I had time to sit still and say, Cory, what do I really want to do? Because I know I'm not, I was too smart to sit around and do nothing. I had too much going on. And I said, I know there's more to me than this. So again, I wanted to help people. And after I finished with college, during the middle of that college, my vision got worse, where I couldn't see anything at all, and I knew I needed some assistance, so I came back to DORS. DORS, I began learning Braille, and then my teacher said, there's another program that we deal with, that can help me a little bit more with my independence, with my blindness. So I moved to Baltimore. I joined the BISM program, the Blind Industry Services of Maryland, where they taught me, those skills and life skills of being blind. And while I worked with my my DORS counselor, I asked her one day, "How do you get your job?" I was like, I would love to be that person that's helping somebody with a disability find employment, because I was going through the process.
Right.
And I was getting all this assistance and getting all this help. I said, I would love to be that person that would do that. I had the bachelor's degree, which qualified me. I was grateful for that. And then I did some volunteering at the Workforce and Technology Center, in the Business Enterprise Program, which is another program of DORS, where we help blind persons that are blind and low vision become vendors and have their own business.
Wow.
So again, it's a lot at DORS. But that's why I said I wanted to be a counselor. So I applied one day, positions were opening up. I applied one day, and that was 2013. And I became a counselor, and I love it. I love it. So I've been blessed to get and receive services from DORS. Now I'm on the other side to give services from DORS. So I can tell people, look, I know one of the biggest things we deal with disability is how can we live with this disability? How can we survive? The quote unquote normal things for persons with disabilities are hardly achieved. It takes a little more effort. It's not just a regular norm. And sometimes we fight with ourselves saying, can I do this? So I want to be able to get back and say, look, if I can do it with my multiple disabilities, anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it.
One thing I found out, again, with the multiple disabilities, I'm also have a little hearing loss in my right ear. And what I found out with disability, that disability is hard no matter how you cut it. Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's blindness, whether it's deaf, whether it's cognitive, disability is hard. But we have to understand that disability is not impossible. And that's one of the messages that DORS presents. Is like, look, we're going to look at your assets, your abilities, your interests, and your strengths, so that you can function in this world just like anyone else. You might do it a little bit differently, but we're going to help you find that. And that's a big part of why I wanted to work for DORS, because that's what they did for me. So I wanted to give back.
It's an absolute blessing.
Absolutely.
Let me say absolute blessing. Like this brother just said, if he can do it, you can do it too. You got to have faith and just continue to believe in God, because this God's got his hand all in on this brother right here. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you also a preacher though, right?
I am.
What's the name of your church, man?
Not supposed to promote.
Ah!
But, maybe if we do it, if it's not DORS, I could do a podcast with you.
Okay, well,
I appreciate that.
Okay, well, he's a pastor also, and he's definitely a great contribution to this community. He's definitely a role model to me. He's definitely a person of inspiration to me, and I thank you for coming to the show, brother. And it's definitely any advice that you want to give to the people. Any shout outs or anything you want to give to the your people that you know?
Well, definitely, I work for the Salisbury office. So give a shout out to Salisbury, represent down here. Great office. I just want to say, if you're newly coming into a disability, or even if you've had one all your life, don't define yourself by your disability. The definition of who you should be comes down to the choices that you make, the things that you choose to do and the things that you choose not to do. I was very angry about having a disability when I was younger, because I felt like it controlled my life, and that's one of the big parts of disability. It feels like it's in control, and we have this helpless feeling. My anger came from a lot of insecurity and in low self-esteem. And some people wouldn't know it because I did everything I wanted to do, but I wasn't happy with my life. But I realized that I had to change my perspective of me. Well, first of all, I had to realize my disability didn't define who I was again. And what defined who I was, I said, well, the choices that I made. But I realized the choices that I was making, I was blaming my choices on my disability. So I gave my disability this control that it didn't deserve. So what happened was I had to start changing my perspective of me, because when I seen Cory, all I saw was disability. So that's what I base all of my success and base all of who I was going to be on disability. So I had to ask myself two really important questions. I had to ask myself, what was my name? I said, my name is Cory. And then I had to ask myself, well, what is my disability? At the time, so I'm paralyzed. This was before I even went blind. I had to get that concept. Like, I'm paralyzed. And I said, well, when I asked myself my name, I didn't say I was paralyzed. My name is not paralyzed. Your name is not your condition. Your name is not your disability.
That's real.
The definition of name means authority. So whatever name is put upon us is who's in charge. So that means disability is not in charge. Again,
that's
real. Disability conditions, everybody's got something.
That's right.
That it feels like defined them. I didn't come from the right family, or I live in the wrong neighborhood. That doesn't define who we are.
Right.
It's what we do with what we have that defines who we are.
That's real.
So when I found out, look, well, if disability is not my name, then I shouldn't identify myself by my disability. And if I don't identify by my disability, then disability can't dictate to me who I am.
That's real.
It can't dictate to me who I'm going to become. It can't dictate to me my successes, and it can't dictate to me my failures. Say again, if it's for me, it's for everybody. The situation, disability, condition does not dictate to you who you are. But what we do is we make choices to determine if we're going to let disability take over our life. My legs say to me, you're not going inside of that building that has steps. That's if I focus on my disability. And that would give me the choice not to go in, right? But what are my other choices? Well, I can use my wheelchair, I can find a ramp, or find an elevator, or maybe ask for help. That gives me 4 choices that says I can do, compared to the 1 choice my disability says that I can't. But it comes down to, what do we choose to do? I encourage anyone and everyone today, make choices. That is what we all have in common. We have been given free will choice. But it's what we do with those choices that's going to determine our successes and our failures. One way we are guaranteed to fail is if we choose to do nothing. That's the only guarantee of failure.
That's true.
But if we keep doing something and keep moving forward and doing what we're supposed to do, as long as we're not hurting ourselves or hurting anyone else, success will always be in front of us. Now, we don't know how far away it may be or how close it will be, but it will be there. But we're guaranteed not to make it if we do nothing. That's
true.
The best I can give you today. Keep making good choices.
Yeah, and have faith. Don't doubt yourself. You can definitely move forward with every situation. You got to make a negative situation to a positive. I would just do the positive stuff, because the negative stuff, they'll keep you in a slump, man. It just feels so sorry for yourself. And that's when you let the devil win. You know what I mean? So you can't let the devil win.
Right.
You gotta keep moving forward, man. Push yourself.
Yeah.
You can make it. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
If this man can make it,
Anybody.
anybody can make it, man. Straight like that.
Yeah.
And I'd like to give a shout out to everybody who's looking and listening to the Mark Ballard Show. Special shout outs to Brat Fiend Radio, Pack 14, and everybody who's watching. Oh, I'd also like to give a shout out to DORS and Go Getters and Peer Connection, all of the outlets that can help people out in the community. People just doing wonderful things and just try to help one another and show love to one another. That's what I'm targeted on, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, we got Cory, Rico, representative for DORS. He's a vocational rehabilitation specialist. And you can't get no better than that. That's real. That's good stuff. And anything else you want to talk about?
Just want to say thanks for having me, man. I think you're doing a good thing over here. Encourage you, as I tell everyone, to keep making that choice. Do good things, man. I'm very proud of it.
Thank you, Mr. Rico. I appreciate you, man. I think that's it for us right now, y'all. And I thank everybody for watching. And like I always say, peace and blessings.